Hey guys, it's Sid here with SVT Performance again, and we're back at 5 Star Tuning in Florence, South Carolina, and we've got Josh in with us. We're going to go for a ride in this 7.3 liter gas motor, Godzilla powered F250 XLT Tremor. That is a mouthful to say, but it is 5 Star tuned. It's got their new 93 octane tune in it. Josh is going to tell us a little bit more about that as we go. First, I want to just get a little driving impressions, what the Tremor is all about on road. Don't have enough time today to take it off road. Maybe next week or so if I come back through. Who knows? If you guys want to see it, maybe we'll put it together. But this one is actually tuned with a HP Tuner's N-Gauge. It's tied in over here. And like I said, 93 octane tune. But let's get on the road and see what this thing's like. Still got the old-fashioned key. I think you have to step up to the lariat to get...
Oh yeah, you got to spend some money.
I know, to get the good headlights, get the... Because, I mean, these headlights are okay, but they're not compared to the LEDs. There's nothing better than those LED headlights from Ford.
No, there's not.
One thing you can definitely tell, you're setting up a little bit higher in this one than the regular old STX Super Duty. Yeah, it sets up basically like an F350 single wheel, I think. At least to me, that's what it feels like.
Pretty much.
The suspension, just hitting these little potholes and stuff like that, feels pretty smooth. It doesn't feel rough like, you know, the old FX4 packages used to be back in the day. At least, especially not compared to my FX4 F350 single rear wheel. That's a rough truck. I mean, it's got some springs on it. Well, it has a heavy service payload package on it too. That thing has some serious springs on it, and it'll give you kidney issues. You want to go left or right out of here?
We can go left out of here.
All right. Let's pull out in front of traffic and see what this thing does. Third gear pull. Sounds good. Try not to run over the GMC in front of us. But yeah, so yeah, obviously you can tell you're sitting up higher. I just hit a massive pothole back there that I hit in our Fiesta ST the other day, and it was not fun, and this thing barely moved at all. So I would say the spring and shock package is pretty good. Like I mentioned in a previous video, these shocks are not like up to the standards of, say, like a Fox Racing shock you would see on a Raptor or something, but they're definitely better than the standard shocks you get on a regular Super Duty. To me, yeah, I would definitely step up and buy a Tremor. I mean, if you're going to get a four-wheel drive Super Duty, I think you should just go ahead and get this package.
It's awesome. It's an awesome package.
It looks great. You got the 430 gears, which are nice. Is 430 an option or is it standard? I think it's standard on the Tremor.
It's standard on the Tremor.
Yeah, with the gas motor.
With the gas motor.
Yeah. So a lot of people are afraid of the 430 gears. To me, even if you wanted a two-wheel drive version of this truck with this motor, I would get the 430s. You know, don't fear the gear. It's not a huge difference, especially mileage-wise. I mean, what are you looking at? Maybe a mile per gallon difference?
At the very most, we actually did a trip up to the mountains, Fancy Gap up there, and, you know, we averaged coming back with a tailwind about 16 miles to the gallon. Going up, we averaged about 15 miles to the gallon. You know, that's running 70, 75 miles an hour, so I feel like that's not bad. Good. And, you know, on this truck, with the Tremor package, you have that reduced front air dam. It's like that tall compared to the snowplow looking one on the regular trucks. So I would venture to say that there's probably more mileage loss just in having the shorter air dam than there is between, you know, 355 or 373 gears. I think it's 355s versus 430s. Let's give it a little bit on the on ramp here. Downshift. That's not too bad. The other thing you got to think about is these trucks come with...
And we got the state police behind us. I don't think he's for us, though.
I don't believe he's coming for us.
Yeah.
The other thing you got to think about is, you know, the effective gear ratio between 33s and 355s, and
35s and 430s, it's
Yeah.
not that big of a gap.
Yeah, on this truck, probably, you're talking maybe 3% difference when you factor in the tire height. Versus, the regular trucks are running, like a 32, 33-inch tall tire.
Yeah,
these are 35s, basically, on the Tremor package. So, yeah, 430s, you're going to get it on the Tremor if you get the gas motor. So you're just going to have that. But I would order 430s in these. I think, especially with the gas engine, you're going to have to wind it out if you're towing to make power, because it's making its power 35 to 4,500 RPMs right in the chunk of its power band. So you're going to want to give it all the help you can there. Put a gear in it. So you get to 430s. This truck steers great on road. I think, it's just a very competent off-road package. It's more than what the FX4 used to be. Of course, I'm not going to be able to tell how well that front limited slip works here on 95, road tractors and everything else running around us. But, most guys are going to just use this for, weekend warrior stuff anyways off-road. And if you're just doing light trails and maybe towing your trailer with your side-by-side out in the dirt a little bit, I don't think you can go wrong with the Tremor package. Now, the big thing though, like I said, Josh here put a nice little 93 octane tune in it with the HP Tuner's Engage that 5 Star's been working on for a while. Just tell us what the gains are on this thing.
Pretty much on the 93 octane tune, you're looking at just under 60 foot-pounds of torque underneath the curve. Peak to peak about 30. And under the curve, you're looking, let's say, about 42 horsepower under the curve versus stock, and peak to peak you're looking at about 20 horse.
So we've got our little dyno cheat sheet here. You hang around to the end of the video, I'll post a better copy of that, and of course I'll have a full copy of it on svtperformance.com. Link will be in the description below. But hang around to the end and we'll have the overlay. But maybe explain, because a lot of people don't understand what the difference of under the curve versus peak numbers actually are. I'm going to get around this camera.
So under the curve, for instance, when you go to get on the home ramp, or you're, getting ready to go past this car here, when you go to get into the throttle where your RPM is, so say you're at 3,000 RPMs getting on the throttle to pass, a car running 45 and a 60.
Yeah.
You got to get on it. It comes in at 4,000, and you got your peak torque there. Well, underneath that curve, getting on to up the speed and everything else, that's where you're really shining. That's where your seconds comes in. Instead of it taking you 10 seconds to pass this car, you pass it in 6 seconds.
Yeah, so want this one or the next one? Just take this exit. I'm going to try not to run over the Chevy. So basically what he's trying to say is the undercurve power is what you're really looking at for your daily driving ability and your towing ability and everything, because that power is the power you're looking at sort of in the meat of the RPM range, 3,500 to 4,500 RPMs. Peak power is going to be made, 5,000, 5,500. You're not towing there, and you're not spending most of the day there. So you really want that power down in the mid-range where the engine spends most of its time. And now we've got a nice little stretch of road here that's blocked off. Let's see what she does from a dead stop. We're in first gear. Just mat it. Well, there's 32, 36, 39. And there's 60 at the top of third gear in a 45. This is a closed road. We're professionals on a closed course. But yeah, let's get some air conditioning in here. Good Lord. AC. Trying to kill us. It's south in February. I shouldn't even have this hoodie on.
It's got some really good acceleration. Throttle, I'm sure feels really nice. The shifting's really smooth.
Yeah. And it looks like it, like we talked about earlier in the 87 tune, you guys got that transmission tuning just dialed in on this thing to where it's holding gears. It's in the gear you want it to be in, even though you can shift it manually. You guys have got it figured out to where, you know, you mat it, it's dropping down to the floor and going to put you up to the RPM range quick.
It's repeatable. That's the biggest thing. Repeatable and reliable.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to stay in this, you know, proper gear.
Yeah. And, man, it's a good sounding engine. We just need to get some exhaust on this thing.
Yeah, that's next.
Next. All right.
Yeah, that's next.
But yeah, it'd be really interesting to hook a trailer to this and really do some towing. I know you guys have that planned. We'll do some tow testing up in the mountains in the not too distant future.
Yep, we just actually come back.
Yeah?
We've already done it.
Oh yeah? So how'd that go?
It went really well. We're mainly working on mileage going up the hill. We did about 10 passes up Fancy Gap. It's about a 6-minute up and 6-minute down. Picked up some mileage, so really good stuff going on there.
So what were you guys towing up there? Because I've been up Fancy Gap many times. And I've talked about it on the site and everything. A good friend of mine had a V10 powered 09 Super Duty, and it had the 430 gears and all that kind of stuff. And we were towing a 10,000 pound enclosed featherlight trailer. We had a F-150 Lightning in it, coming back from Bradenton with, you know, everything that you would need to race for a weekend in that thing. And he was asleep, and it was his truck, and I was driving. So I was like, we're going 75 miles an hour up this thing.
Exactly.
And it did it. It did it at like 4,200 RPMs all the way to the top. Didn't have a problem, but it was getting like 2 miles to the gallon.
Oh yeah, we did really well. Going up the mountain, we got 3.2 miles to the gallon, I want to say.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's in the neighborhood of where we were. On the round trip, going up and down, because on the bottom of the mountain and on top of the mountain, there are gas stations, so you can turn off and come right back down it and go right back up it.
Yeah.
We ended up doing 6.2 miles to the gallon all the way around trip.
Yeah.
So, but it towed it right up the mountain, didn't downshift it up, you know, right there where it was supposed to be. Fifth gear, just no problem, 60 miles an hour speed limit, you know, easy.
Yeah.
Very powerful.
You know, a lot of people probably don't know what Fancy Gap is, but that's on I-77, right on the Virginia-North Carolina border. It's actually it's the first exit in Virginia if you're headed north. And that's, about a 6 mile long pool and 6-7% grade, something like that.
It's 5 to 7, I believe.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a good pool, and it's a fairly dangerous stretch of road too when the fog rolls in. There's a big pile up there about 5 years ago, like 20 people got killed. Dangerous stretch of road, but it's a really good spot if you want to test out some towing abilities. I mean, what were you guys towing with this thing?
We were actually we towed with this one 430 gear and the 355 gear. It was a little overloaded on the 355 gear. We couldn't tell it. It handled it great, no problems. But 15,500 pound dump trailer full of rock.
Yeah.
So it's actually in the back lot.
Oh yeah, 15,000 pound trailer full of rock. Yeah, it's a pretty good load.
Yeah.
And you know, that's a big load. People would not think of towing something that heavy a lot of times with the gas motor truck. Would you guys try it with the diesel? Because I know we've shown you guys have a 2020 Power Stroke too.
Oh yeah, we've towed it with the diesel as well. You know, we're in trans development with the diesel. So
yeah. So going from the gas motor to the diesel, since you've driven both, towed with both, how big of a penalty would you say it is having the gas motor, you know, power-wise and towing up that mountain versus diesel? Because obviously the diesel's got more than double the torque.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not really fair to compare it, but this one's also $8,000-9,000 less. You've seen the price of regular gas versus diesel. You know, you're looking like $2.10 a gallon versus $2.80 a gallon. You know.
Me personally, if I was towing more than 10,000 pounds daily, you know, the exhaust brake's nice.
Yeah.
You know, having the extra torque going up the mountain was nice. You know, we've towed several different. We towed a boat. You know, a lot of back drag, a lot of wind. And it, you know, it tows in 10th gear, but it don't need to. You know, it kind of still lugs even the 6.7. You know, the transmission needs some work there, but the 6.7 is just a powerhouse. I mean, there's really no true comparison between the two. But I mean, like I said, if you're towing over 12,000 pounds daily, you know, the 6.7's definitely the winner.
Yeah, and obviously it would be, you know, that kind of weight all the time, and that's why I bought, you know, my 6.4 truck back in 09. That truck didn't really go anywhere that we didn't have a trailer hooked to it. The kicker is, here we are 10 plus years later, and I only have 65,000 miles on that truck.
That's crazy.
So did I really need to spend that extra like $8,000 back then for the diesel? Probably not.
Probably not.
No. So, yeah, this is a nice little rough spot. And yeah, this truck, smooth, way smoother than mine. A lot smoother than you would think a big four-wheel drive truck would be. But yeah, it's getting tougher and tougher to justify all that added cost and expense for the diesel. I mean, of course, it's like the GT500 of the truck world. They perform fantastically, tons and tons of power. But yeah, you're gonna have to pay if you want to play. And you know, if you're just like me, you're driving an average of 6,000 miles a year, towing, you know, some heavy stuff here and there. But I mean, my trailer, fully loaded out with a car and toolboxes and golf cart and everything in it. It's a Featherlight aluminum enclosed trailer. It's like 14,000 pounds. This will jerk that around all over the place.
No problem. You know, we plan on taking this out to Texas Raptor Run. We'll be loaded down, you know, 12, 14,000.
Yeah.
And from what I've towed, 15,500, you know, I drive with one hand on the steering wheel, passing, you know, tractor trailers, no problem.
Yeah. Well, the truck itself, it's the same truck as the diesel one. You know, it's the suspension and everything is going to be competent to handle that load and everything. Now, when you're towing, you know, 15,500 pound dump trailer, what gear does this like to run in on the highway? You said the diesel wants to lug itself around in 10th gear.
On that trailer, it actually wants to lug itself around 9th. And it's fine at night on flat ground, you know what I mean? But on flat ground, it runs 8th gear pretty good, and it'll hold on the overpasses pretty well.
Yeah. So what gear were you pulling Fancy Gap in?
Fancy Gap was 5th gear.
5th gear? It's holding 5th gear all the way to the top?
All the way to the top.
Man.
6 minutes.
Yeah. And I know in that 6.8 V10 truck, I think we were in 3rd gear. That sounds about right.
That sounds about right. You said 70, 75, somewhere in there?
Yeah, we're running 3rd gear in it. And it's the same deal. Yeah, we want to hold it down for 5 minutes and ride to the top like that.
And that was at, you know, 45 to 55% throttle.
Yeah.
That wasn't, you know...
You're not taxing it.
No, you wasn't hurting it. I mean, it had plenty more.
Yeah.
We could have went up that mountain at probably 80, no problem. If we wanted to, you know. Not very safely, but...
No, probably not. The most dangerous thing I run into is the damn truckers pulling out of the truck lane on you when you're riding up through there. Nearly shot somebody once for that. Had to get on the brakes going uphill, towing 14,000 pounds to keep from running over an 18-wheeler. That was a fun time.
Yeah, that's not very fun.
No. But yeah, this... Man, the maintenance cost too, because your truck is at the shop right now getting an oil change.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably going to be less than half what an oil change would cost on a diesel.
A lot less, yes.
I mean, all you got to do to know the difference is look at the difference in price between, hey, check out what's coming right here. Old Ford.
Dude, that is cool.
Yeah, look at the difference in price of oil filters. You know, 7.3's running an old FL820S. And, you know, 6.7, you got a $20 oil filter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, they take, I want to say they take 7 quarts of oil.
Yeah.
And
which that's what the V10 used to take too. So yeah, 7 quarts of oil versus, you know, 4 gallons. more or less.
Yeah, you're talking a $40, $50 oil change.
Yeah, so not bad. And then you're not replacing fuel filters every other oil change, which that's $50. You know, you got a diesel truck, you might as well run some additive in every tank full if you want that high pressure fuel pump to last, and the injectors, because that's about a $14,000 fuel system on those. And if the injection pump goes out, guess what? It wipes out the injectors, lines, everything. So it's just, this is 90s technology in this bad boy, just port fuel injection, and about as simple as it comes.
Yes, sir. Everybody and the brother can work on them, you know.
Yeah, simple stuff, and yeah, it gets the job done. So if you're towing, your car down to Bradenton for the NMRA race, or you got a boat you want to tow around here or there, daily drive, the mileage difference is not going to be astronomical like it used to be when you're talking like a 7.3 Power Stroke making 210 horsepower versus a 460 big block gas motor making 250. And the gas motor was getting 8 miles a gallon unloaded, and the diesel was getting 22 miles a gallon. Now, those gaps have shrunk.
Significant.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. You're within, what, 4 miles to the gallon, maybe?
Probably. That'd be about right. Gas motor's going to get about 4 miles per gallon less on fuel that is at a bare minimum 50 cents a gallon cheaper. And you're not having to buy selective catalyst, diesel exhaust fluid, and all the other fuel additives and everything. So it comes out as a way cheaper alternative to get into a nice brand new 2020 Ford Super Duty. And then you guys can throw a tune on it and a nice little cheat sheet and pick up all that power under the curve, and which is right in the meat where you want it to tow. Yeah, it's a fantastic deal. Now I want to go trade mine in. Anybody want a 6.4 truck?
Got low mileage.
Low mileage. I've only been on a rollback once. That means it's due. Well, guys, thank you. I hope you've enjoyed this little video riding around here in this 2020 F250 XLT Tremor 5-star tuned with HP tuners. For me and Josh, this is Sid with svtperformance.com. We've got the link to this full article about this truck in the description below. And as always, we've got all your favorite news, reviews, and latest insider information on your favorite Ford performance-related vehicles. Go over to the site and check it out.